really special. And he's like the only one that could do it.
Word.
You know, just in the way that he does it, that makes it such a visual experience and then kind of an emotional experience. So, yeah.
Okay.
Love that.
All right, I'm going to name your albums, and I want you to say something about them as I name them.
Okay.
Tell me where you was at when you were making them. Or
like
whatever,
what I was feeling, where I was at, what was happening.
Whatever you...
You know, you jump around a lot.
I love that. Yes, I do.
I gotta keep up with you.
Yes, I do.
We ain't even with Quick Time Islam yet.
Oh, we ain't even with Quick Time Islam yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna give
we
me.
got slime?
Yeah, Quick Time. Yeah. Okay. Songs in a minor.
First of all, it's A minor, my G.
Oh yes, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic.
That's okay.
All right.
That's okay. Don't worry.
All right.
He's gonna use dyslexic.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
It goes a long way.
Use it all day.
It goes a long way.
It just made me feel bad, though. I was like, oh, my fault. Songs in A minor, 135th between 5th and Lenox.
Woo.
1 6-floor walk-up, 1-bedroom apartment, no heat, blazing hot.
MMG Cafe? What's the cafe that you...
Pan.
Pans.
Pan.
Damn, I felt the fried fish just
yes,
now.
So
yes,
good.
Uh-huh.
In the closet with a blanket over, recording vocals, listening to records for hours and hours, trying to figure out how could I produce them, how could I make them sound as good as Isaac Hayes and Mary and like, you know, Smokey Robinson and Marvin Gaye and like those joints that was timeless forever and never went to sleep, singing at the top of my lungs. Dude on the corner called me, hit a high note every time I walk back to the spot. Hit a high note, I heard you last night. That's Songs in A minor.
Okay. The Diary of Alicia Keys.
The Diary of Alicia Keys. I had just moved to Jersey. I thought I was...
That money was coming.
I thought I was big time.
Yeah.
I thought I could get me a little spot. I just wanted a little spot, or like a little house, like a little thing. All of a sudden, everything kind of turned around. I didn't really have that much money that I thought I couldn't make the rent anymore for the spot that I was renting. And I was stressed out, but I knew that it was going to work out. And I promised I would never live in Jersey ever again, because I was never going to pay to get anywhere. Don't charge me to leave or come back in. And I never, so I went somewhere.
You're talking about the tolls?
The tolls.
Oh, okay.
So I went somewhere I could get a free bridge, and I ended up in Queens.
Long Island? Queens. Where at? Okay, first of all, where was you at in Jersey? Do you remember?
The first time, honestly, it was such a blur. It was like such a bad time. I just didn't even remember.
So you don't even remember? But you remember where you was at in Queens?
Rosedale.
Okay.
Rosedale. My first house, Queens, Rosedale.
Wow. You know that's where 50 Cent is from. 50 Cent from around the corner. Yeah.
But where are you from?
I'm from Left Rack City.
Oh,
God damn it, makes a noise for me.
Hey!
I'm very proud.
Right?
Holy shit. So
50 from Rosedale?
50's from around there. Yeah, he's from Roxdale.
Yeah, I don't
he's
think
from Roxdale.
Rosedale.
Yeah, he's from Roxdale.
That don't add up.
Yeah.
But I get you.
Yeah. Okay, so let me finish the albums.
Okay. Yeah, you took me there. I was lost.
As I Am.
As I Am. I had a major breakdown. I didn't know how to handle all the things. I felt like I was supposed to handle everything and I was supposed to be perfect. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to be it, and I felt like I was sinking. And I had to leave. I couldn't take it anymore. And so I left, and it was the first time that I went on a trip for myself.
To Egypt? Is that when you went to Egypt?
That's when I went to Egypt.
Okay.
I actually went to Egypt and Italy. You know, I'm half black and half Italian.
Wow.
So I didn't even realize when I picked those two, there was like a homecoming in a way, like a trip for me that was going to mean something. And so when I came back from that, I started changing everything. I had a bunch of fake friends. I had people that they weren't fake, but they just wanted what they wanted, and it wasn't in line, and I had to kind of babysit everybody, and I just cut off all the excess energy. And I remember I just decided, I can create what I want to create. I don't have to do anything that don't feel right for me. And it was the first time that I really expressed my own individuality, and I made major changes, and it changed everything.
Wow.
I fired business managers, lawyers, all these fake ass people that want to steal from you.
Yeah.
And it was finished.
So that was a shift for you.
Switched it. It was a big shift, that record, which is why it sounded like that.
Okay. The Element of Freedom, which is kind of ironic because you kind of describing that, leaving that album, so it makes sense that you went to the element of freedom, but I want you to say it in your words.
The element of freedom, yeah, I know. When I think about it, I felt so empowered naming the album Element of Freedom. It wasn't until I looked back on it that I realized, well, the element don't make no damn sense. It's just a tiny little bit. Like an element is a tiny bit of freedom. Here I was thinking I was like having all this freedom, but the words I was choosing was small. And so that's kind of, at the time, I had to break out of thinking small. I had to break out, although Element is where Empire was, Element is where Try Sleeping with a Broken Heart was. Element was like a big European record for me too. Like Europe went crazy over Element of Freedom. And it was like my coming out of, it's my beginning of coming out of anything that I had maybe held on to before and like leaving it behind. But I still needed a lot. I still needed a lot of transition.
So,
you know he's gonna get so deep. Drink.
Yeah. So that brings me to Girl on Fire.
Oh, Girl on Fire, you couldn't tell me shit. I remember people was like, you not a little bit nervous that you calling this album Girl on Fire? I was like, why? I'm a fucking girl on fire. And I didn't even get what they were talking about. They were kind of saying, like, I guess they were saying if you say Girl on Fire, but if it don't end up being that hot, what's gonna happen to you?
Oh, I thought they was talking about like the Richard Pryor type of fire. Oh shit! I didn't mean it like that.
Like I was gonna get burned?
Yeah, that's what I said. I thought you said. I thought you said no. I thought you said that's why people was like you was chasing yourself that you see on fire.
Although I did throw my brother I got a younger brother and I threw him like his 18th birthday and it was fresh and we went to the go-kart spot, you know, the racing spot, and we were in the racing spot, and I surprised him. I brought like his friends from wherever, the family was there, we rented it out. I felt like I was doing it big, it was crazy. He was so happy, he was so excited. We were in the back with cheers, brother, I love you. Boom, and I went back like this, and there was a candle behind my hair. And then my ladies know when you put like the hairspray and all this stuff in the...
So you was a girl on fire.
And all I know is, thank God Swizzy was with me. He was like, bang, 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 bang. I was like, why you fucking hit my head? And it was on fire. Get out here. So that was during that album, and to your point.
you wrote that.
I should have been careful.
She had a Richard Pryor moment.
See? Oh my gosh. But Girl on Fire was on fire. I had my first baby. I got rid of a bunch of negative motherfuckers that needed to be out of my life.
Wow.
It was about removing that toxic bullshit. And I was on fire for real. There was no, I felt myself, and I was like, I had a space for myself, and nobody could tell me some shit that wasn't right, because I knew for myself.
Now, you just said that title was hard, but this title is harder to me here. Because it's just like, to me, that's being cocky without being cocky. Because you saying here, and most people say, I'm here forever. So I think, but I can't put those words in your mouth. What were you saying by saying here?
I remember I was gonna name here King of New York.
Ooh, okay.
I've said, I'm the King of New York.
I respect that. I ain't gonna say no to you.
I deserve to be considered the king, not the queen, not the princess, the king of New York.
I'm gonna make some noise for that. It's okay. You got 90 million records to back that statement up.
So I started to kind of bring some of the other kings in New York in. I was, building with Nas, Q-Tip, Jay, and I was just like, how you feel about this? I want to call it King of New York. People had such an adverse reaction to it. It was so interesting how that rubbed people in a certain way.
Because you're asking the other kings of New York, though.
And they didn't. I don't feel it was more like they were kind of considering it for me, like as a brother, like to their sister, more like that. Not like they was hating. They was, Anyway, so I decided to call it Here because I realized that was even more powerful to what I was feeling at the time. And that record to me is one of my most undiscovered jewels. To me, that record is my Purple Rain. Like that one is one of my most special, important records. And it was a big transition for me. It's my love letter to New York. You really hear it. You hear it in every skit. Our brother Pick was on that record before he passed.
God bless.
There is a whole energy that's in there that's so real, and so I decided to call it Here because, not because I'm here, but because I'm present. Like I'm here and I'm experiencing myself in this moment, and I'm being honest with everything that I'm going through and feeling. And so I'm here, and that's the way I looked at it. And so I love that record. That's one of my favorite. That's like one of my favorite records, my baby.
So then you self-titled the album, Alicia.
Alicia.
What made you do that?
Alicia came because I realized that I started to really know who I was and who I am. And Alicia is a very complicated individual. We're all complicated individuals. We all got all these different sides to us. And I remember I was having a conversation with my husband, and he was like, you know, why don't you ever tell anybody you're Italian? And I was like, what? Why don't you tell anybody that you're Italian?
Italian.
And I was like, people know that I'm Italian. What are you talking about? He was like, ask anybody, bet you don't know you're Italian. And I was like, huh? What is the point? He was like, I just feel like you like not fully sharing everything. Like there's so many ill parts to you and you don't share all of it. And that was the first time that I really thought, well, maybe there is stuff that I'm holding back that I didn't realize. And so Alicia was really about uncovering, like, who is Alicia on multiple levels? Who are we all on multiple levels? Like, we feel like we have to be this one side or this one type or this one version, or this person makes you happy, so I'm gonna be like that, and this person makes my girls happy, so I'm gonna be like that. But like, who are you? And that, to me, that's like
self-discovery.
That was my stake in the ground. Like, this is who I am.
All right, let's make some noise for that.
Hey.
And then the last one, 2021, is The Keys. And it's a double album.
I never did a double album before. You ever did a double album?
No,
that shit ain't no joke.
I ain't got that much thought process.
Okay, it cut off.
I'm an ABC dude.
Dyslexia.
After D, I'm fucked up. AB, I gotta be ABC.
Songs. Eight songs are good.
Yeah, so
Keys is really about, like, listen, there's two sides of me, there's two sides of all of this, there's many sides to all of us. I have my original me, I have the one that you might expect me to be. I'm behind the keys, I got that music, I got that soulfulness, and I also have a whole other side of me that you probably not gonna expect, and I wanna blow your mind with both of them. They're gonna be all about the piano, they're gonna be all about the shit only I could do. This is my world, you can't do what I do, and you're gonna love it because it's this experience that's just like pure and real and honest, and you're gonna feel it right here.